Hi, my name is Stephen McGee and I'm the author of Toxic Electricity, and we're here to talk about these smart meters, and this is actually a mechanical meter. I used to have an AMR meter here a few months ago, and I noticed that these plants were not growing right in this area, and I had the utility company change out the meter to a mechanical meter. And a few weeks after having my meter changed out, they changed out the neighbour's meter over there. So there's been a very big difference observed in these plants since that time. And here's my climber. My climber was always doing quite well up there, but it wouldn't grow on this wall. And it's now starting to put up new growth on this wall. And we're at the end of the growth season, so it hasn't shown a huge amount of growth, but this is definitely new growth that has come up since that meter was changed out, but it's far more noticeable in these plants. And you can see this light green growth. This is all new, as are the berries, and berries have suddenly appeared. But this plant is actually covered in new growth. I haven't really seen these plants grow very well for years, and this particular plant was doing the best out of the group of plants. These are three identical plants that all went in at the same time. This one is by far the biggest. And this one here, this one wasn't doing very well, and it's put up a whole bunch of new growth since the meter was changed out. It's now actually doing the best I've ever seen it. I've never seen it grow like this. And these plants have been in for years. And here's the third one of the group. This one has put up a huge amount of new growth and is doing very, very well today. And many people have started to realize that these AMR meters and smart meters are actually quite toxic to biological organisms, and that also includes the human. So if your plants are not growing right near to where your electrical meter is, you should start to get quite concerned, because the effects that you're seeing in your plants are probably not limited to your plants, but they're probably affecting you as well. So let's have a look at what else we've got. So this one pretty much just finished its growth cycle for this year. It's the 1st of November, and in a few weeks these plants will probably go dormant and start hibernating for the winter and drop all their leaves. So this was a tree that I had growing. This one has been struggling somewhat to grow compared to others in the garden. I'm still waiting to see if there's going to be a nice recovery take place in this plant. It does appear to be growing a little bit better than before the meter was changed out. It's very, very noticeable in these plants though. So the thing you'll notice about these plants right here is that there's a mixture of light green new growth and yellow old growth. It's very, very noticeable. What appears to have happened in this plant is that when the wireless meters were taken out, they started putting up lots of new growth, and it's very, very noticeable on the top, and it's now started to drop its old growth. And I see this effect where leaves that were grown in our natural radiation fields, when those radiation fields are removed, the leaves get dumped and get replaced by all this new growth. And it's quite evident that that process has actually taken place in this particular plant. But you can see that it's actually put on a good 1 to 2 foot of growth in the vertical direction just in the few months that the electrical meters have not been here. So there's been a very marked difference in this plant, and it's also present in this plant. As you can see, we've got the yellow growth down here. It's in the process of falling off. It's been replaced by this healthy green growth. So very, very healthy growth has come up since the electrical meters have gone, and we've got this very yellow growth that is in the process of being dropped. and I can tell you that the new growth feels very lush and very soft, and the old growth is very hard and brittle. As you can see, each ribbit falls off. So a very, very big difference in these plants. And particularly down here, this was a hole in the bush that has been there for years. This bush just wasn't really growing. It was going through the motions of following the seasons, but it just wouldn't grow. And all this down here is brand new growth. It appears to now have decided to fill in the hole that's been there for years. And you can see this new growth coming up from the interior of the plant. There's no shortage of it on this particular plant. So I have to conclude that there are no doubts that the wireless radiation fields were affecting these plants, and that now those wireless radiation fields have been removed, it's been like throwing fertilizer on the plants, and they've all come back to life. They've come out of the dormant, deformed state, and they're now growing the way that they should grow. If you want to find out more about this subject, I have a book on it. It's called Toxic Electricity, and if you read this book, you'll find out the many toxic aspects of the electrical system that also include wireless radiation. Hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I wish you the very best of health. Thank you.